J.C. Latham? I know that you and Tigo might be feeling a little differently on Mr. J.C. Latham here. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, J.C. Latham. I think I'm definitely higher on J.C. Latham than the majority. I have him as my third rated overall tackle. He's a guy I would have no problem whatsoever sticking at pick 10 and picking. Okay.
Mhm.
6'6", 350 pounds, just a big guy. Now, the lazy comparison that everyone makes because of his size is Mekhi Becton. But
Mhm.
I want to quell that, and I kind of want to put that to rest. All of a sudden, all aside, they are not the same player. They really aren't. And and I mind you that people kind of look at the size and compare a prospect who hasn't played in the NFL now to Mekhi Becton of 2023, who wasn't the Mekhi Becton we thought we were getting when he was healthy, originally healthy in 2020, right? That guy as a rookie, we thought was going to, we thought that the trajectory was going really far up. Injuries kind of decimated his career, maybe, a little bit of laziness, but that's not what I see in JC Latham. First and foremost, when you talk about the strength and the power that this guy has, it's elite. He's 100% the strongest lineman in this draft. He's dominant in the run game. He just displaces defenders, right? Whether they're head up on down blocks, on double teams, he just displaces people, takes them completely out of the picture. He also has, a elite level grip strength. So once he gets his hands on you, if he can extend and you get it, and he gets his hands on you, if you're rushing the passer, or if you're trying to get free, in run defense and seal an edge, game over. It's you're not getting through to him. So there's no breaking through, there's no swimming over him or something like that. He gets his arms extended, his hands on you, the game's over. Now he plays with like a level of tenacity, that I come to really respect. If listen, finishing blocks is one thing, and then there's what JC Latham does. I mean, he drives grown
He's opening
ass.
up a Denny's, pancakes for days.
Yeah, he drives grown ass men 15 and 20 yards out of the field on a regular basis. If they actually kept the stat, maybe they do, I don't know, somewhere, but if they kept a stat for pancake blocks, he would lead the nation by a wide margin. And most of his damage, it's not just like him down blocking or him cracking back on a defensive end that's not looking. Like, he'll do that stuff in pass protection as well. You know what I mean? Where you just kind of try to bull rush him, and he just pops you and turns you and lands on you. I mean, it's something that's completely abnormal, and I really really like it. I mean, he is so gosh darn strong. Hand usage is elite as well. His hand placement, he fights. It's refined. He's always from the inside, which is a good trait for all you, you know up and coming scouts. When you're watching these tackles, you want to see their hands from the inside. Once you get outside, you're beat. There's a thousand different ways the defender can get around you if your hands are too far outside. But he's very technical in his usage, in placement, in his hand placement in both the run and the pass. Again, high level stuff. And his pass pro is, great. All right. He plays with awareness. The head's always on a swivel. So he's adept at picking up the stunts, the twists, the games, the run, the blitzes, the thunder blitzes, the corners coming from the outside, or those zone blitzes. He's always, he's always keen to those. The guy cannot be beat by a power rusher, plain and simple. He's got an insane anchor. He doesn't even need to, sometimes you'll see the initial rush, a good, pass blocker. I'll use Joe Tippmann as an example. I'm not comparing the two, but Joe Tippmann, I think, has a really good anchor. But sometimes you'll see him, the rusher will get into him, and Joe kind of has to take that little hop, step, set, and re-anchor and come back up, and then he holds it. But you never see that with JC Latham. Once he's anchored down, he's done. He keeps his shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage when dropping into his pass sets. He hits his landmarks with ease. All the stuff the technical stuff that you want to see tackle have, in pass pro. He rides speed rushers right up the arc, so keeps the pocket clean for the quarterback, and I went back and I specifically looked at this, and I only found twice in the game, in some of the games that I went and rewatched, that he was beat by a speed rusher. Ooh,
Mhm.
he was beat by a speed rusher. All right. Now, that's college speed. That's not NFL speed. And in that same token, if I'm being honest and I'm being, full disclosure here, his pass sets he was never asked. Like Alabama's offense was a little bit wonky, RPO based and so on and so forth. So they never really dropped Jalen Milroe back into a 7-step drop, traditional deep pass set. So he was never asked to set with great depth. Everything was quick, 3 to 5 steps. So there's really not a lot of film with J.C. Latham in a true 7-step drop pass set. So, although he handled speed in college very flawlessly, he also never played against NFL caliber speed in, set up or aligned in wide 9. So that could be, I'm not going to say it's going to be, a bad thing for him, but it could be a new challenge. It's stuff that, there's just nothing on tape that we saw in that, in that aspect, in that formation. And I remember specifically, Evan Neal coming from Alabama. Again, not comparing the two players. I think J.C. Latham is twice the player Evan Neal was. But the one thing that got Evan Neal in the pro was the fact that he was too slow to gain, depth sets, and he was beat by speed all the time. So a lot of people are correlating some of the struggles that Evan Neal's had in the NFL to the fact that just wasn't done a lot in college, So I'm just kind of moving that boat along to the next right tackle out of Alabama. It's something that's probably going to be a challenge. Athleticism, he's not Armarius Mims. He's not Olufushanu. He's a mediocre athlete. He's got a mediocre athletic profile at best. Compared to some of those other names, like I said, Fashanu, Mims, Morgan, those guys are like elite athletes. Got Tyler Guyton, elite athletes. But for a 350-pound guy, he moves pretty well in space. He's just not as fluid as other. So
Blitzkrieg comes in. He's saying, could J.C. Latham be pre-injury Becton? Like, do you see any concerns of that maybe? Like, because Becton wasn't injury prone coming into the NFL, and then wound up, it just sort of became a Jet, and Jet things happen.
Yeah, I think that J.C. Latham is his play strength and his functional strength is already prospect J.C. Latham, and pre-injury Mekhi Becton. I think J.C. Latham is much more dominant than even Becton was. He moves better than Becton. He's definitely a lot stronger at the point of attack. Technically he's a little bit more sound than Becton was pre-injury. So I think he's already better than, pre-injury Becton.
Honestly, I saw Becton's dad on draft night and I was like, oh no, those are the genes he's got. Let's say his dad is a guard. This guy's going to be battling stuff. I mean, obviously I don't know what J.C. Latham's dad looks like, but I just kind of
listen. No, I don't know what his dad looks like. He's a big boy. And, but again, 350, 360 pounds. And if you look at him, he's not a big old fat slob. Like he's well put together.